am so excited and grateful to be back with you to share another lesson for you to take with you on your unique by design journey. You ready? Here it is. So it's perfectly okay and oftentimes necessary for us to reset our sights, readjust our grip, and refocus in order for us to stay on target in accomplishing our goals. Let me say it one more time. I think repetition is important, so let me say it one more time for you. It is perfectly okay and oftentimes necessary for us to reset our sights, regrip, and refocus in order to stay on target in accomplishing our goals. Now, you know I love to provide examples for you from my life in order to help you get a better understanding of what I mean. So let me share something with you, let you in on my world a little bit. So I sometimes like to go to the shooting range to just stay active and stay up on my shooting skills. So in the last few weeks, I went to the shooting range, and I usually wait for my brother to go with me, just to have, somebody to go with me and have my back. But I stepped out on faith and I went by myself. I stepped out of my comfort zone and I went by myself a few weeks ago. And so I want to share with you my two targets so that I can help you, and then I'll elaborate a little bit on the lesson and what I mean here. So this is my first target. So within the first few minutes of me being there, and mind you, I hadn't been to the range in maybe not quite a whole year, but it had been, a few months since I've been. So when I started out, this is how I was shooting. Okay, so here's the bullseye, if you can see that. And so this is how I started out. This was in the first few minutes of me being there. I was missing the target. I was like all off of the bullseye, not even close to the bullseye. This is how I was shooting at first. And after I would shoot a few rounds, I would look at myself. I put my weapon down and I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I know for sure I got a good shot. So what is going on with my shooting? So in between me reloading and everything, one of the guys who worked at the range came over to me. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. Like, what am I doing wrong? I know I got a good shot. Like, I don't know what's going on. What am I doing wrong? So he looked at my stance. He was like, okay, let's make an adjustment here. Let's fix this, fix how you're standing. And he told me to, aim. And so he looked at my grip, how I was gripping my weapon. And he was like, okay, well, put your left hand here, put your right hand here. And you see how that feels? Readjust that. And then he went on to just tell me a little bit about how I was actually pulling the trigger. And so after he gave me the little tips or whatever, the little reminders that he gave me, I lied to you not, the very next shot that I shot started giving me this. So this is my second target. So after I got those little simple reminders and I made my little readjustments in my stance and I refocused my sights and I got everything together, this is how I ended up shooting. See that bullseye? You can't even see the X that you saw on the last one. So I missed a little bit here, but see, on that first one, all my shots were here. But on this one, after I got those little reminders, here it is. I'm hitting the bullseye on target. Right, so after I left the shooting range, I was really pumped, I was really excited, and I was like, you know what? I just needed those simple reminders. And I was like, that's how God does us sometimes. Sometimes he just taps us on our shoulders and he's like, what are you doing? Because maybe there's a vision that he gave you to start a business, to write a book, to start a new career venture. But life happens. And so when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? when we have those set visions and goals and things that we're trying to accomplish, sometimes life happens. Sometimes life circumstances happen, and that's what I thought I saw as these when I was missing the mark. I'm missing the target. I'm missing the target. I'm missing the target because maybe for you in your life, you've had a failed relationship. Maybe you had a toxic friendship. Maybe you needed to start a new career. Whatever the case may be, maybe just life happens. Sometimes you have the death of a loved one you have to deal with. Just life happens sometimes, and unexpected circumstances come up. But those are things that we have to deal with. So that's why we're missing the mark. That's why sometimes we miss the mark on accomplishing our goals. And sometimes God has to tap us on our shoulders, get our attention, and be like, hey, let me help you. You know that business idea I gave you? Tweak it just a little bit. Here, instead of doing this, I need you to do this. And maybe the vision that you had was a little too small. Maybe you need to broaden that vision a little bit. So that's what I saw this as. When I left the shooting range and I looked at this experience, I looked at the targets, I looked at, how the guy came over and just gave me those simple reminders about what to do, how to refocus, how to regrip, how to really take my stance. I was like, wow, this is how our lives are sometimes, and it's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with readjusting your goals to make sure that you are accomplishing them. Oftentimes, if we don't hit one of our goals, we are so down on ourselves, we get down and depressed and, in these valleys, but all we need to do is just make a little adjustment, regrip here, refocus here, tweak it just a little bit. So maybe this video for you is God tapping you on your shoulder. What are you doing? Refocus, regrip, readjust. It is okay. That's what I want to share with you today. It is absolutely fine and often necessary for us to readjust our grip, refocus, and reset our sights on that thing so we are accomplishing our goals and hitting those targets and seeing those dreams and those visions that God has given us come to fulfillment. So be blessed today and continue to strive on your unique by design journey.